Hello, my name is Bianca Camargo, and my number is 156. I attend Calvary Christian Academy, and I am primarily interested in costume design and construction. I will be getting my bachelor's in fashion design and my master's in costume design. And the following is an example of my costume construction from the musical Six by Toby Marlowe and Lucy Moss. So Six the musical is about Henry VIII's 6 wives. Out of the 6 wives, I chose Anne of Cleves, which was his 4th wife. She lived in the 1500s in England. He chose to marry her because she was Germany's Duke of Cleves' sister, and he thought it would be best to make a European alliance. He chose her out of the 2 sisters because he saw her portrait, which is right here, and he thought that she looked the most beautiful. But once they met in real life, he thought she wasn't as beautiful as he expected. So she was called the ugly wife. I think this is really funny how this can relate today, and something that happened in the 1500s in England still happens nowadays when people make themselves look more beautiful than they actually are or different than they actually are, and they post it on social media, on a dating website, and people just are very confused. So they did get married because they were too far along in the process to stop, but they were only married for 6 months before they got divorced. She was given a generous settlement and later became friends with the king. For my costume, I used the style from Six the musical, which has a 1980s punk style, and added the 1500s English elements. I have pictures on my board which include pictures from Six the musical and Anne of Cleves' costume, and I also have Anne's portrait and different pictures from dresses in that time period. I have my original sketches, and this is the one I decided to go with. I chose the color red on my costume because she wore a red dress in her portrait. It also represents the passion that was involved. King Henry passionately didn't want to marry her. Red can also be a symbol for religious and Christian beliefs. Anne of Cleves became Anglican once marrying Henry. I chose the black crocodile print vinyl because it gives the dress a textured leather look. The scales also represent the ugliness that Henry saw in Anne. The fabric themselves aren't very bright because Anne of Cleves had a more submissive personality. She didn't argue or rebel. The divorce was peaceful, unlike the wives who were beheaded. I added the gold chains because of the lines in her solo. She says, "Got gold chains symbolic of my faith to a higher power." This is also why I added the cross necklace, which is symbolic of Christianity. It was very popular to wear the big cross necklaces at that time, as you can see in the picture on my board. So when creating my costume, I used a pattern. You can see here, this is the pattern I used. Here were my original designs, and then I ended up going with this one. I used this pattern and altered it to get the look that I wanted. I changed the way I made the skirt and the sleeves because the fabric was so thick. The top part is denim with a top layer of 100% polyacrylic, and the vinyl fabric is crocodile scale print. I wanted to create the 1980s punk look, so I wanted it to make it stick out and very full looking. You can see in the 1500s English costumes, they were very full and dynamic. So I wanted to create the same look but with a lot less fabric. I did this by pleating the fabric and sewing it down and then connecting it to the costume. I added this belt and included a loop so the actress would be able to place her mic in it. I also used this belt so that I could connect the gold chains. And then I added a gold chain here as well. This dress is one piece, so I added an invisible zipper in the back so the actress would be able to easily get in and out of it, and also the audience wouldn't be able to see the zipper. I also added gold handcuffs to also create this style. I bought wide gold stud strips and sewed 2 clasps to them so they would fit around the wrist. When on stage, the actress would wear black fishnet tights and black boots to complete the look. For this costume, it would be hand washed. The total cost of my supplies was $132.65. I believe this is a reasonable price because it is about the same or less than other costumes. Thank you.